Here we are at GITEX 2021. The gates are already closed, but we are not closing our podcast. So we have another guest who is here to breathe in the innovation that is happening on GITEX. Jonathan from Property Finder, product designer.
Head of product design.
Head of product design.
Yes.
It's being late.
That's okay.
Jonathan, I really wish that we recorded our chit chat before podcast, because you were saying so many things about how GITEX is alive again and bringing this energy to the region and to the world.
Yeah, it's been really excellent to see. I was here last year. That was my first GITEX. And the world was just coming out of its shell. You know, we were kind of crawling out of our caves. And it was nice to see humans again, don't get me wrong. But this year, this is my first day today at GITEX, and I'm just blown away by just the sheer scale of it. I've been to football World Cups, but this is another level. It's so busy that we've got, you know, some countries that are on the sidewalks of GITEX. It's clearly sold out, that we're squeezing people in booths wherever we can. And it's amazing to see not just that it's busy, but also clearly the world is here. These are not locals. These are not the average people you see every day. You've got all nationalities in their, you know, national dress or whatever that might be, and it's exciting. It's nice to come out of the pandemic.
But you're kind of tech company. You are the leader in real estate. How do you call it? Real estate e-commerce? No, it's not commerce.
It's a marketplace.
Marketplace,
or a property portal.
Okay,
if you will.
And what's in there for you here on GITEX? What one head of product design can find at GITEX or GITEX Future Stars?
So product design, as I was saying, is not just about the pixels and the UX and the UI on any product. It's also about establishing product market fit, understanding who are your customers, what are their needs. And as part of that, we are always looking at innovating. Innovation and design go hand in hand. And it's interesting to see what the world has to offer. So it's either things we can use and we can utilize third parties within our product, or we can get inspiration from other things and look at how that applies to us. So it's not only looking at prop tech and at startups in that space, but looking in networking and meeting people from all areas.
Besides propertyfinder.de, you are also, you see, I heard on radio so many times, propertyfinder.de, you know. You're also involved heavily in ecosystem as an advisor.
Yes.
Can you tell us, what did you see here, and what is it that you do in general with startups in this region?
Sure. So I'm originally Israeli, as I was telling you, and I'm an advisor to the Dana Accelerator, which is Abu Dhabi-based accelerator with startups in Egypt, Gaza, West Bank, Israel, Saudi, as well as the UAE. And it's an accelerator for desert tech. So that's renewable energy, ag tech, water, etc. And the interesting thing, and this is just on the side, I've also worked with other accelerators here in Dubai, is that design applies to everything. And I'm also hosting, or one on a panelist on some of the Israeli delegations that have come. So there's a lot of synergies between desert tech. Israel, as you know, is also mostly a desert. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, the same, as well as the region. And since the Abraham Accords, it's been very exciting to, a year on, be past the honeymoon period of the Accords and see people that I met a year ago at GITEX, or just under a year ago in December, and bring those not only from just a meetup or networking perspective, but actually work on tangible things and support the ecosystem. So I do host a meetup as well about design that are hosted within the accelerators here in Dubai. So that's called Human-Centered Design UAE, something I started a while ago. And again, it's great for the wider network, so to see other, like the Dubai and Abu Dhabi ecosystem, as well as the regional one, represented, doing talks here at GITEX, networking, meeting each other, and collaborating, and looking at mutually beneficial initiatives.
This is what the exhibitions like GITEX are for people to meet, to exchange knowledge, to learn, to listen, and so on. How do you compare the region? How do you compare the region? Yes, everything is close, but how do you compare the region? What are the some differences or some similarities to each region that you just mentioned?
So it's really interesting because I think from outside of the Middle East, it's looked at painted with one brush, like it's all exactly the same.
Of course.
But living here and again working for the the number one portal in the UAE, as well as Bahrain and Qatar, and still emerging, but also playing a part in KSA in Egypt, I have had the benefit to travel to some of those other markets and do research and understand the nuances, and they are quite significant, in terms of the maturity of those markets. So it's still, as a region, I would say, maturing and emerging. But the big difference in Dubai is it's not, it's the first rodeo, it's not the first GITEX, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
There is talent coming in from the rest of the world, and Dubai is a launch pad to some of these other markets. So there's a lot happening in Saudi, for example, in terms of external investment and internally marketing Saudi, as well as Egypt. So both of those ecosystems are exciting. We do have, like a first generation of entrepreneurs, designers who, that never existed before, these industries. It's only been around the last kind of, 5-10 years. Yeah. And more recently, they are looking at the rest of the world. They're collaborating with the rest of the world. As you know, and I'm sure other panelists have spoken, what has changed as well is we had a pandemic where everyone was forced to be on Zoom from home. And that's leveled the playing field. So it's a lot easier for people to, collaborate with other markets. I was on a panel this morning with Perth, Western Australia, and we were talking about the opportunities for Australian startups in Dubai. Opening mindsets of saying things that maybe were impossible or you had to get on a plane. It's a lot easier now to break that silo and collaborate.
Definitely, the things are changing. I had a guest to a podcast talking about even as recent as 2013, 2014, 2015. The things are changing. Ecosystem is booming. People are coming from all around the world. The borders are erased, and the distances are erased with these remote capabilities and things. This region has always been early adopter, but does it have, what is your insight? Does it have innovation ideas that can change the world?
Definitely. I mean, there have been amazing success stories to come out of Dubai. You look at Kareem, that was sold for billions to Uber, and it just shows you that localization plays a massive part. It's understanding the nuances, and I also think to some of your audience, there's huge opportunities here. There are massive incentives by the government. The laws have very recently changed dramatically in terms of creating more incentives for entrepreneurs, for founders to come to Dubai, come to Abu Dhabi, be based in the UAE, and benefit. There are 53 million people in the GCC. So you can also use this as a launch pad to the rest of the world, to Africa, to South Asia, and do it with a different angle to understand, some of those nuances, as you said, is we have a very small percentage of native population, and you've got people from all over the world. So if you want to test something, if you want to find a group, you want to find Serbians, Russians, Israeli, whatever,
focus groups,
you will find every group here, and you'll also find a mix of people, so from various backgrounds. So in terms of a test bed or launching something, I think it's a great place to definitely come to.
And it's definitely a place, amazing place to be, GITEX 2021. Thank you very much for coming into our podcast. I look forward to having one long podcast with you and talking about the startups ecosystem and of all of the regions that you mentioned.
Would be happy to.
And thank you very much for attending GITEX.
Thank you for having me.